On January 30th, 2013, Johnny Sun tweeted, "By power vested in me, I now pronounce you man and wife. No one could stop it from changing how words sound if man and wife know what I mean." This is the Museum of Twitter, the show we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. As fans of this show know, I love to throw it back to a weird Twitter classic whenever I can. Weird Twitter was this branch of Twitter from like 2011 to 2014, where people had like cartoon avatars and they would tweet jokes, and a prominent member of Weird Twitter was this guy Johnny Sun. Except back in the day, he was not known as Johnny Sun. His real name is Johnny Sun, but back in the day he was known as Jomny Sun. Even though it was only one letter away from his actual name, Jomny Sun was the alias he used when he was pretending to be an alien tweeting. I don't understand this bit, just go along with it. And part of the bit was that he was an alien who didn't understand human language. Now that didn't manifest itself in any real way. He didn't tweet like he was an alien. He just would tweet jokes that were slightly misspelled. I understand that this doesn't make any sense, but if you were there, it just kind of made sense. We went with it. And this was one of his biggest joke tweets. And it's definitely the one I think about the most, because for the longest time, it was a rite of passage in weird Twitter fandom to understand this joke. Because there's a good chance that you're watching this and you're like, what the hell is this joke? I mean, the fact that I read it out loud and some of the intonations I used made it a little easier to understand, but I'm sure that there are people who are watching who do not understand why this is funny. So let me break it down. He is, of course, invoking what a priest or some other officiant does when they pronounce someone man and wife at a wedding, but this joke relies on different meanings of the word pronounce. Normally, in a legal setting, pronounce means like under the eyes of the law, but he is using the word pronounce like the word pronounce, like how you say something. And what he is saying is that by the power vested in him, he is choosing to now pronounce the word you as man and wife. So going forward from the perspective of the tweeter, the word you is pronounced man and wife. So that makes him reflect, no one could stop from changing how words sound if man and wife know what I mean. Now that sounds like gibberish, right? But you have to remember, you is pronounced man and wife. So what he is saying is, no one could stop him from changing how words sound if you know what I mean. I really can't emphasize how proud of himself 16-year-old Jake was when he got this joke, and I'm not the only person who took a while to get it. Barrett says, "This took me a second to comprehend, but it's the most beautiful poetry and amazing use of language, A+." Nan says, "This took me 1,000 years to get." Catherine Mead says, "I wasted so much time trying to get this, I'm so mad." Kate says, "This took me so long, I challenge you all, good luck." And some people had to give up. Renan says, "Carve this in my headstone and I still wouldn't get it." Some people like Nicholas had to cheat and learn from other people's retweets what it meant. And others like friend of the show Pat Tobin were content not to get it, where he says, "Johnny, I don't 100% understand this tweet, but it's really nice." And a good point made by internet legend Demi Adejuyigbe, who kind of got his start as like an adjunct member of Weird Twitter, is he said, "The best part about this is that it ends with 'if you know what I mean,' and almost nobody does, lol." I really love this era of Twitter because it's where I came up, it's the people I really started following when I was getting into the site. But I also love it because it was a lot of really interesting wordplay. It was just a bunch of weirdos all across the Anglosphere tweeting puns and jokes and using language in really interesting ways. And it just so happened that a lot of them used cartoon avatars or pretended to be an alien confused by human language. And the great thing for Johnny Sun is that he ended up parlaying his Weird Twitter success and other things, he was like a playwright, into being a TV writer. He ended up writing on the final season of BoJack Horseman, and it was really nice that Cam responded to him announcing this with, "Big congrats. I saw your name in the credits and I had to double check if it was the one and only Jomny Sun. I still remember this tweet from way too long ago, and still think this is the best tweet man and wife or anyone could make." Get it? He's saying best tweet you or anyone could make. I know I'm over 400 episodes in, and you'd think I'd run out of ways of talking about why Twitter was special, but like, I think it is special that the same place that could be like a hotbed for political discussion that like ruined the world also could be the place where people are making interesting jokes using language interestingly. And frankly, if I'm the only one who finds that fascinating, I just can't relate to man and wife. Follow me from the tweet every day, and if you want to support the show, please go to patreon.com/museum of Twitter. I really appreciate the support. I'm trying to do more cool and bigger, better things with this, and the more people I can count on being subscribers, the easier that is. You get to vote on what I cover on Subscriber Sundays, and you get a weekly bonus episode called The Museum of Not Twitter.